Hello children, welcome to today's video session of Standard 8 Moral Science 14th lesson, Avoid Being a Melancholic. What cannot be cured should be endured with a smile face. Everybody on this earth experiences sorrow sometimes or the other in his life. The right attitude towards sorrow begins with a childlike belief in God's providence and the wholehearted resignation to His will. Though tears may be shed in the face of a tragedy or loss, and some words of complaints may be spoken, a good character adjusts himself to the pain and accepts it with good grace. If we continue to cry for some loss, it brings further pain. The true strength of character can be seen only in adversity. Sorrow and melancholy is understood when some great tragedy strikes. You cannot expect a person to smile if he has lost his loved ones. You cannot expect a person to tell you with a cheerful face that he has lost 100 rupees. But if whenever you meet the person, he keeps weeping or lamenting the loss of his loved one, then a time will come when you will start avoiding him. How many times are you going to console him? Weak character react to tragedy in different way. Excessive weeping, unending complaints, helpless inaction, glorifying one's sorrow. Excessive weeping. Weeping should not consider as a sign of weakness, but to settle down to a continuous state of weeping, to go about red-eyed and wet-cheeked for hours on end, or to break into tears at every meeting with others is a sign of physical and moral weakness. This attitude may be due to the subconscious effort to win sympathy from others. It is very important in life not to lose control over oneself. Unending complaints. It is pathetic to hear people grumble against God for not preventing sorrow. Sometimes they blame other people who, according to them, are the root cause of all their misery. They narrate long stories of their own goodness and merits and whine about how little they deserve this inconvenience. They insist on telling others about how nobody tries to understand their sorrow. They are constantly painting themselves as a sufferer who has suffered a lot in the cruel world. Helpless inaction. There are some people who think that their sorrow is to greet that it is end of the world for them. They forget that where there is a life, there is hope. Instead, they shut themselves up against the world and grieve and lament by themselves. If a person withdraws within himself, others have to step in and help him out. These emotionally unstable people withdraw into faraway world where they are interested in nothing. They do not take care of themselves. They perform their tasks in a listless and disinterested manner. If this kind of mood persists for a long time, it can be surely lead to some permanent psychological damage. Both Mr. Mathur and Mr. Mendonca went to the interview for a new job. They were both rejected. They both lacked experience as well as some additional qualification that would give them an edge above others. After hearing the result, the reaction of both was entirely different. While Mr. Mathur settled in his chair with helpless inaction, blaming his luck, the system as well as the people who had interviewed him, Mr. Mendonca thought of increasing his skill. He joined some evening classes. He went to the library and increased his knowledge and grasp on the related subject matter. He left no stone unturned in order to improve himself. This attitude of his helped him in acquiring self-confidence and enthusiasm in life. When he next faced the interview board, he had equipped himself fully to make himself capable of the post. Mr. Mathur's condition deteriorated day by day. Nobody liked to sit with him or spoke to him. His unending sorrowful tale could only make him an unsuccessful man in life, glorifying one's sorrow. Sometimes a person likes to tell about the hardship he has undergone. He tells about the burdens of his life. He loves to talk about the inequality of life that have put him in an unfavorable position. Thus, many people in the world often think themselves to be overworked, badly treated, discriminated against, persecuted, and off material. Such people are generally disliked by everybody who knows them. Eventually, they are left to address their complaints to empty rooms and farewells. People shun them like a dreaded diseases. Mr. Mehra presented a pitiable sight. He sat in a corner of his office with a bundle of paper in his hand. To a newcomer, it would seem that Mr. Mehra was engrossed in his work, but everybody in the office knew that he was just waiting for somebody to go near him. He would then try to engage a person in a conversation full of bitterness, frustration, and jealousy. He would not even spare the people working in the same office and say nasty things about them. Criticizing Mr. Mehra would then elaborate on his own misfortunes, the wrongs that had been done to him, and the suffering he had to bear. His behavior made him an unpopular man. Nobody wanted to interact with him. He would sit alone in his grievance and grudges. It would have been better if Mr. Mehra had tried to come out of a cell of self-pity. He would have then realized his folly. He could have tried to behave and interact in a proper manner. This would have been beneficial to him more than anybody else. It is very important to get out of the habit of self-pity. Some people from this habit so that they are excused from any kind of labor. They know exactly when to start winning just to keep themselves away from all discomfort or any other sort of sacrifice. Such people lose all friends in the end. Hence, the best way to behave in sorrow is to try to take a mind off ourselves and try to fix it on others. Those who always think of others before themselves are the happiest people on earth. God has made us to behave in a noble and responsible manner. Thank you.